Hello, fifth graders. We're going to add some dark values and cast shadow to your still life drawing. This is not going to be all the shading work. This is just going to be two parts of the shading work that we'll start with first, okay? The tools you're going to need are a regular pencil, a good eraser. This one's not awesome, so I have an extra eraser. And then if you have them at home, I'd encourage you to grab a couple Q-tips. Those are going to be helpful for later. All right, here's our drawing. We're going to start with using this pencil, and I'm going to hold the pencil back a little ways. I'm not holding it right now like I'm writing with it. I'm going to hold it back a little ways because that allows me to use the angle that's on the pencil in a little bit better fashion for my shading. The first thing I'm going to look for is really dark areas. Now, there's not a lot of those in my still life. That might be kind of surprising to you, but there's not a ton of really dark areas. So I'm going to take a little bit of time to just add the really dark areas here to my drawing. I'm seeing some dark areas underneath some of my objects. See the angle of my pencil there helps me to get that shadow in there nicely. Underneath this tuna can. There's another dark area. Ooh, that eraser is going to come in handy for me, isn't it? There's some dark values in the end of this banana. You'll notice some fun kind of textures on here. Hopefully you've got some things you can use fun textures for in your drawing as well. I'm going to continue doing some work on just the dark areas, but I'll do a fast forward on the video so it takes a little less time for you to see. All right, boys and girls, you'll notice we have quite a few areas that are pretty dark. I did do a little bit of lighter shading. In some of these areas, I did a little bit of fading, but I wanted to talk to you before I did too much fading, just to tell you a little bit more about the cast shadow idea. The other thing I wanted to show you was the Q-tips. The reason I had you grab a Q-tip, and if you don't have a Q-tip, a little piece of Kleenex or toilet paper or something will work too. But the nice thing about these Q-tips is they can blend for you. So if you take a look at that area right there at the tip of the banana, if I use this Q-tip and just lightly, don't press hard because you'll grind the pencil into the paper and it won't move for you very well. But if you just press lightly and kind of go over that area, do you see how it sort of fuzzes that area and blends it in a little bit? That's definitely better than just plain pencil on white paper. So I'm going to do that in a couple areas that I already have here, just to add a little bit of other values to our dark areas. In here, that shadow on the tuna can from the banana, that would be a nice spot. This would be a nice spot too. You'll notice I'm not completely covering any of those areas yet because we do want some areas to be plain white in your drawing. We want to be able to see where the light is really hitting your objects brightly, so we're not going to shade everything. But I am going to take a couple minutes to do some cast shadow work. The cast shadows don't have hard, crisp edges like some of the hard, crisp edges that you see like on the bottom of these cans here at the bottom of the box. The cast shadows are going to be a little fuzzier. They're going to have fuzzier edges sometimes, like the area that we did on the tuna can there. So we'll do a little time lapse again, just so it doesn't take too long for me to show you this next step. We're not doing all of the shading today. We're just doing the dark areas or the dark values and the cast shadow or the real obvious shadows. And then with our next video for next week, we're going to come back and fill in with some of the light and mid tones. All right, boys and girls, we've got some cast shadow and some very dark areas now in our drawing. We're going to come back next time and put in the lighter shading areas and the midtones. One thing I'd love for you to notice is how in our cast shadows there are different values. So you'll notice some darker and some lighter areas underneath the banana, for example, and where the shadow fades a little bit underneath that sandal. That's something that you can enjoy trying with your pencils and your Q-tips. I think that's all for now. Great job.